Stories of a burglary gone wrong surrounding a death are all too common in cases in true crime. Indeed, it's almost such a cliche at this point that it becomes almost unbelievable as an excuse for someone ending up dead. That's not to say it doesn't happen, but sometimes these circumstances stretch the viability of a random attack. Today's case features a burglary gone wrong, but there are other factors that make this case stand out among the plethora of other nasty goings-on in the world. For one thing, gender roles are transposed. The murky world of arranged marriage is involved, and the motive is, well, frankly, on the shallow side. And the location in one of the lesser known cities in India is another departure from the cases I normally look at. We're going to Kalyan on the west coast of India and to the year 2019 to look at the death of 23-year-old Jagdish Salunkhe. This is Murder of Crows. The city of Kalyan was surrounded by a fort wall, the construction of which began during Shah Jahan's reign and was completed during Aurangzeb's reign in 1694 AD. This city wall, which ran 2,123 yards and was guarded by 4 gates and 11 towers. The fort wall enclosed an area of 70 acres, and on a high mound near the Kalyan Creek, where the current Ganesh Ghat stands, was a fort as early as 1570. Under the Marathas, which was 1760 to 72, a new gate about 150 feet or 46 meters to the south of the Ganesh Gate was opened near the mansion of Ramji Mahado Biwaka, who was the Peshwa's governor. In the citadel of the fort, Marathas built a small wooden temple of Durga Devi behind the mosque and called the fort Durgadi Kilain after the Hindu goddess Durga. Moving forward in time, in colonial India, the British Raj called the city Kalyan, or Kalyani. The cast-iron mileposts that existed in and around Kalyan had the spelling Callian, Callian, as the name for the town, and these posts were installed during the colonial times. Today, Callian is considered, along with nearby Domvivli, as a twin city, and it comes under Mumbai metropolitan region. And it is a municipal corporation with its headquarters located in Kalyan, in Thane district in the Indian state of Maharashtra. It was formed in 1982 to administer the twin townships of Kalyan and Dombivli. The combined cities have a population in the region of 1.25 million people within its 53 square miles. Now on to the horrible story. Jagdish Salunkhe was born in Taluka River in the Jalgaon district of Maharashtra, India. His father ran a barbershop in the village, and after completing his studies, he moved to his elder brother's house in Kulsiwadi, Thane. After Jagdish found a job in a pharmaceutical company, his family began searching for a bride, because he was getting a decent income, and according to his family, it was the right time to get married. And so the complex process of arranged marriage needed to be navigated by Jagdish's parents, along with the parents of any prospective bride. Proposals started pouring in for Jagdish, given that he was considered quite the catch, being independently comfortable financially. And one of these potential brides was Vrushali Thackeray, a resident of Malad. A meeting was arranged between both families, and after the meeting, both families agreed to the marriage very happily. Everyone's a winner. Did nobody think to ask the people involved? But anyway, after Jagdish and Vrushali got engaged, they started meeting and talking on the phone to gradually get to know each other better. That's something, I guess. This allowed them to discover the nature of their intended partner. And in this way, their relationship goes on fine for about 6 months. But somewhere down the line, Vrushali had understood that Jagdish wasn't compatible with the way she wanted to live her life. Being frank, it seems he wasn't nearly flashy enough. Jagdish was too simple for Vrushali's tastes. Whenever they met, she would often suggest that he wear something more stylish, but he would ignore her advice. Gradually, she came to realize that agreeing to marry him was a mistake. So 20 days before the planned marriage, Vrushali tells Jagdish that she doesn't want to marry him yet and wants to focus on her career first and then get married. This wasn't just a case of cold feet, rather it was a woman realizing that she and her intended husband were incompatible. When Jagdish informs his parents, they, of course, then go to speak to Vrushali's parents, and the situation was resolved by her parents pressuring her into going ahead with the marriage. Culturally speaking, in traditional Indian families, parents hold massive influence over their children, and often effectively make their children, even if they are effectively adult, they make the children do their bidding. Now, this could be considered old-fashioned, and things are changing within this world, but generations of ingrained cultural norms don't disappear overnight. So the phenomenon of arranged marriage is not unusual in Indian culture. But Vrushali's approach to trying to stop the wedding was far from traditional or acceptable. She planned to get rid of Jagdish. No Jagdish, no wedding, no problem. Just 3 days before the marriage, she had invited Jagdish to her bachelorette party. But due to being busy with work, he was not able to get to the party on time. And when he arrived late to the party, she gave him some food in a tiffin box to take home and eat. However, when he gets home and opens the box to eat the delicious delights, he notices a foul smell coming from the food. And because of this, he decides to throw it away, which, unknown to him, ultimately saves his life. And in this way, his life is saved before the marriage. But the marriage itself did nothing to derail Vrushali's plans to remove Jagdish from the picture. But she knew that she needed to make it look like an accident or otherwise something that she was blameless for. But brace yourselves, she really didn't think this through. On March the 6th, 2019, Vrushali called Jagdish's maternal uncle, Nandial Sodan, who lived nearby. On the phone, she told him that she went out to buy some vegetables, but when she returned home at around 11 a.m, she discovered the house all messed up and seemingly ransacked, and Jagdish's body lying unconscious. After receiving the news, messages were passed along the pipeline, and the uncle informed other relatives, including Jagdish's mother, and the relatives all descended on the flat. Initially, to all appearances, it seemed like a robbery. But on checking Jagdish's body, they discovered that he was still breathing. They rushed him to the nearby hospital, but sadly, on arrival, he was declared dead, and the police were notified. The police obviously began their investigation by questioning Rhys. She suggested that thieves might have entered her home, killed her husband, and then robbed the place. But, and it's a pretty big but, Jagdish's post-mortem confirmed that he was strangled. But detectives were, fair to say, surprised to learn that he was poisoned before being killed with a rope. The suspicious circumstances made the police look closer to home for the culprit, since they must have been able to feed him poison, and pretty soon they were able to work out what had happened. When Jagdish comes back from work, she first mixed poison in his food, and after some time of eating, his health, surprise, surprise, started deteriorating. And when Jagdish loses consciousness, Rhys makes sure, in a double whammy, by strangling him with a rope until he stopped breathing. After Rhys was convinced that Jagdish was dead, she removed valuable jewellery from the house and scattered all the things of the house, giving all impressions of a ransacking that would be associated with a burglary. She left the house under the pretense of going to get vegetables, and then after a while she returned, "Oh my God!" and then calls Jagdish's uncle, sharing a fabricated story, and on we roll. However, in the end, all her lies were exposed in front of the police. Police interrogated Rhys, asking why the thieves would poison her husband before strangling him, if robbery was their motive. It does seem rather complex. Unfortunately, she had no answers and simply continued to deny any involvement in Jagdish's death. However, when the police pressed her further, she eventually confessed to killing her husband, Jagdish. During the confession, she also gave what was to the police a shocking revelation that this was not the first time she had tried killing him, at which point she recounted the story surrounding the bachelorette party and the tiffin box of delicious but apparently foul-smelling food. Speaking during the investigation, ACP Anil Pawar of the Kalyan Division said, "When we questioned her several times, she admitted to committing the crime. We also have information that the couple had married on December the 29th, 2018, and that their marriage wasn't going well. No shit, Sherlock. Initially, we had registered an accidental death report, as nothing had gone missing from the house. But we will now register a murder case and arrest her soon. I should think fucking so. And arrest her they did. And she remains locked away.
ठाकरे के दिए गए बयान के आधार पर उसके खिलाफ धारा 302 के तहत हत्या का मामला दर्ज करके उसे कोर्ट में पेश किया, जहां से उसे जेल भेज दिया गया।
But a young, innocent, ambitious, simple man is no less dead for the simple reason that he liked a simple life. Sadly, the reason for the murder was seemingly only that Vrushali liked modern types of boys, whereas Jagdish was a boy who lived a simple life away from glitz and glamour. Despite the frequency and acceptability of arranged marriage within Indian culture, Vrushali's actions have been, unsurprisingly, widely condemned. Critics believe there had to be other ways of dealing with the situation. No shit. But that's by the by. In the International Journal of Law, Policy and the Family, author Naima Tahir, born and bred in the arranged marriage culture, but educated in the free choice marriage culture, argues that much literature on the arranged marriage fails to offer full exploration of this traditional marital system. Instead, the arranged marriage is often analysed through the lens of the modern free choice marriage system. But it should be quite clear that this is not a neutral lens. This considers the free choice marriage to be the ideal. As a result, the arranged marriage is perceived to be a marriage of shortcomings, one that fails to meet the standards of the free choice marriage system, and thus is considered less than. There are social principles fundamental to the arranged marriage system, and many of these are much misunderstood, including hierarchy, patriarchy, collectivism, group loyalty, and the role of parental and individual marital consent. As such, Tahir argues that it is vital to first understand the traditional structures of the arranged marriage before one can understand modernizing tendencies that the arranged marriage system is currently undergoing. Put simply, how can you put cultural differences into context if you don't fully understand that context? All of this said, murder is never the answer if problems result from this delicate and intricate system. And I would go further to say that murder is never the answer to any problem. But that's just me. Quite why a woman thought that murder was the only way out, I can hardly fathom. I appreciate that family pressure can have a huge bearing on behaviour within certain cultures. But to immediately think that completely eliminating the other party is the only way out is quite the leap to make. Two young people with huge potential may indeed have been incompatible, but now both, in different ways, have had that potential completely derailed. It is a tragedy on every level. This video is dedicated to Jagdish Salunkhe, who died simply because he wasn't flashy enough. I send love and condolences to all of those that grieve for this lovely young man. Thank you for watching another episode of Murder of Crows. If you've not subscribed, please do subscribe and click the notification bell to stay up to date with all of my uploads. And with that said, I'm Steve. This is a very benign and docile Samson. And we will see you when we see you.